Well, welcome to tonight's show. You're with Tom, Brian and Steve, and this is NRL from the Sidelines. And as we do every time this week, we're going to talk about the round of NRL football that's just being played. Gentlemen, how are you tonight?
Okay.
Are you good?
Yep. Can I say that I think the pre-show sometimes is better than the show.
Yeah, it's one day we'll record the pre-show. We just don't have the budget for it. That's
Sure.
There's a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes, there is.
There's an awful lot to talk about. We have strange results, some surprise packages coming through. We have
angry results,
and we're going to get to those.
Some tremendous results.
We have some very angry results. But what we'll do is we're going to start off, and I have a question for both of you, and I want you to answer it honestly.
You know, we do a pre-game show and he doesn't tell us that this is happening.
That's what's so good about the pre-game.
But you know what?
Okay, yeah, anyway, come on, ask a question.
We're going to talk later about St George and the Dogs tonight.
Yes.
About the game.
Yep.
We all know that the Dogs hammered St George. I want to talk about St George for a moment. I want to know, where do they go? They were deplorable tonight. They were, they haven't scored a try in 80 days, and they don't look like they're going to go close. I mean, they went close tonight.
I actually thought that was a try.
No, well, my initial thought was maybe, but yeah.
Talk about it later, we'll talk about the game later, but I want to focus on St George. Does Mary resign? Does Mary get sacked? Do they start dropping players? I mean, serious big name players.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about was the fringe and reserve grade players, because there's no opportunity for them to play, and St George actually need to make some serious changes. They need to say, but in saying that, they've got blokes like that Jason Saab and Tristan Saylor who are dynamic, like if young players, not an opportunity in first grade. I think there is, and I hate to say this because, I don't necessarily dislike St George as a club, but there is something about them that isn't right. There is no energy. There's no enthusiasm. They're playing one-out football. They're using blokes like Tyson Frizzell, who plays on the edge and runs great angles. They're using him in the middle as a battering ram. Yeah. I don't get it.
Was it Jason Saab that wanted to get out of his contract?
Yeah.
And I heard on the news tonight that Dufty's been offered a contract at the Titans.
They let Jai Field go to
Paramount.
Well, if he can't get a game,
that's right.
I mean,
but he should have been put in last year. Like Hunt and Corey Norman are not performing.
No. But let's look at the players. Tyson Frizzell.
Yep.
Paul Vaughan.
Yep.
Ben Hunt.
Terrence Sims.
Corey Norman, Sims. Yep. One or two. They've got them both. One of them must be.
There's only one playing at the moment.
Yeah. They got Duffy. They have the makings of a decent team. We're not talking about no names. We're not talking about players who are fringe. We're not talking about players who are reserve graders.
Well, the Bulldogs had fringe players.
Exactly.
Tonight.
So what is it that because they're not performing for the coach. The coach is going to get sacked, and they're all going to say, we think that's really sad, it shouldn't happen. And I'm wondering if he deserves to get sacked. The players aren't playing. At the end of the day, they're not performing the way they should.
100%.
For those names.
Well, obviously his game plan's the problem.
We looked at it the other week when we were discussing Canterbury, and Steve, you said, who from that Canterbury side would you take at your club? And we went, maybe Hopewati.
Yep.
But you look at, and that's the problem. You have a look at the names in the Dragons side. You've got Corey Norman, who admittedly is playing terrible, but he's no slouch.
Yep.
Zach Lomax, Ravalawa, Josh Kerr, Cam McGuinness, Paul Vaughan, Tyson Frizzell, Tarek Sims.
They've been a lot of those have been ripped.
They're all. I did mention McGuinness, and I didn't mention Isaac Luke.
Trent Merrin,
James Graham.
It's like, admittedly James Graham's a bit longer in the tooth, so is Trent Merrin, but, I don't know.
How much has this Jack DeBellin situation affected them, do you think?
Oh, look, I think that can be an excuse for last year. I don't believe it can be for this year, because he's been out.
Well,
honestly.
Apparently he's still training with the squad, and he was in the halves of the B team and beat the first grade squad. That's what I read.
He was playing in the halves.
Yep, for the B team,
Jeez.
and the B team beat the NRL squad.
I know 5'8's a big, but my goodness. Oh look,
Well,
there's
that says an awful lot. But anyway, look.
like I said, to me, it's more about, you're right, the players aren't performing, and McGregor's big change for the week was to put Corey Norman back to fullback.
Yeah.
You know what, Corey Norman and Ben Hunt, he just need. I know that's $1 million worth of their salary cap.
$2 million.
Yeah, but you know what?
but he
Put
didn't
Norman
do
at 5'8", put Hunt on the bench. I think you find yourself a new halfback. I don't know.
I'd drop them both. I'd drop them both. I'm sorry. Like they were not good.
No.
They were not good.
They never looked like they were going to score. Now, admittedly, they missed out on that try from Pereira, but really, for most of the game, they did not look like scoring a try.
Yeah. Now, it's got to come down to the coach, and I don't mean to be rude, but if any one of us here was in at the start of a 2-year contract, we wouldn't be saying, "Yeah, look, we'll voluntarily go."
No.
I'm sorry.
Well, the NRL 360's commentators tonight were pretty harsh on Mary. They asked him hard questions, and he acknowledged that. He said, "You really given me some tough questions tonight." But he fronted up. But where does he go? And the hard part was tonight wasn't really the time to ask those questions of him. A little bit of compassion. You give him a day or two for to wash over him, and then you ask him the questions.
Okay, let's move on.
All right.
Gentlemen, we had one last week. We raved about the 6 again rule. We talked about how good we thought it was. We talked about how it made the game flow. Do we still agree?
Like I said, I was reserving judgment. I'm still not prepared to say one.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm not enjoying is that to me it seems a little inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a number of clubs over the last 2 weeks have been on a roll, and it's nearly like, and there's no way to stop that roll, and so then the defending team, hand on the ball, slows it down, 6 again, hand on the ball, and you've just got this ongoing imbalance of haves and have-nots, which is not necessarily a bad thing because, we've got a salary cap and we want things to be even.
Yep.
But I think there's a little bit of inconsistency.
So are you saying you're turning off it?
No, I still like it, but I'm not sure. So the game that got under my skin was the West Tigers Titans game. Inside the 20, the Tigers.
Cowboys Titans. I think.
Oh, so.
No, Titans played the Tigers.
Did they? Oh, okay. I thought they played the. Okay.
No, Cowboys played the Sharks.
You're right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, sorry.
The Tigers kept. The Tigers kept inside the 20. They kept playing at the ball, and the ref would be going 6 again. And the Titans at early in the game were outclassed. They couldn't do anything with that. And so I'm wondering whether there could be that inconsistency. But
doesn't that show up later in the game when the Titans do get the ball and it's their opportunity to create that roll on and put the Tigers under that sort of pressure?
Look, that may be, but the Tigers must have given away maybe 5 or 6 inside the 20.
I guess it asks the questions: what's the purpose of the ruling in the first place?
So
what is the purpose? Of the ruling?
And it's to speed the game up.
Okay.
But if you're in the 20 and you're giving away penalties, it's got to either be a professional foul or a shot at goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't just keep giving away and giving away sixes.
Mm.
No.
So and I thought that in the Manly Parramatta game, I thought that was inconsistent with the way that it was ruled.
Yep.
And I'm trying not to be biased there.
I think in the stats too. We look at the stats every week. I think in the stats now they need to start listing specifically the separate
6
stuff.
again.
Yeah.
It'd be good to actually include that.
So
But good luck getting the NRL to hear you about that.
I'm still happy with it. I'm just thinking there's a couple of inconsistencies, and look, and it was always going to happen. The smart coaches will find ways to get around any rule that is a disadvantage to their team.
Tom, you just said good luck trying to get the NRL to listen to that. Just a side note, I watched the conference the other day with Wayne Bennett,
Yep.
news conference. I heard the questions. For the first time ever, I heard the questions being asked and Bennett able to answer.
Well, we've been
Pushing that.
been rabbiting on about that for a long time.
Well,
They are listening.
Well, hang on. The
to
NRL
us.
says it's not them; it's Fox. So good luck.
Well, someone fixed it the other day.
It ain't hard, honestly.
It's not hard.
Not
Well,
hard.
even we fixed our mic,
We fixed our mic.
and we're such a high budget show.
We are. Okay,
Right.
gentlemen. Sad news today about Josh Reynolds being picked up for driving without a license and drug test. I don't want to go into
Okay. Well,
too much detail.
So his drug
on it.
test is still pending because the second
Exactly.
one was,
So I
was
don't want to
negative.
make
Yeah.
it.
But I mean, driving with an expired license, he should have known better.
Yeah, that's dopey. That's a mistake.
Yep.
And Reynolds has come back and said that he definitely didn't have anything in his system, and the second test was negative. And if you want to see him about it to Phil Rothfield, then come down and see him at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. I bet you Phil Rothfield doesn't show up.
No, I don't
He's
think he
been
will.
he's been through the mill, hasn't he, Josh?
Yes.
I feel
Yeah.
sorry for him. I
Yes.
mean,
Look-
all that drama with the girlfriend, and then just not to be able to be given a fair go on the field.
Yeah.
And then not to be able to be released, because I'm sure the Tigers would release him if the situation was right.
Well, apparently the Dogs didn't want to pay much for him, but why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you offer to pay? Even at half his salary, it's still a mighty good deal for the Dogs.
I'm thinking the Dragons, but anyway. Yeah, look, I'll take him at face value. He said it was negative. I'm happy to run with that, and if it isn't, then he will get rubbed out, as he should.
Yeah. And Vossi will call him a porky pie.
Okay, I have on my notes to talk about forward passes.
That's going to come up, isn't it?
Brian, are you able to?
Excuse me. This is Monday. I'm okay. I'm calm.
If it was later in the season, it might have been much more significant.
Talk about your forward passes.
Well, no, I actually particularly want to talk about forward passes being adjudicated by video ref. That came up today in the news, and I'm thinking, do we really want to do that? Because all of a sudden now, you're going to be, what is a forward pass? How fast is he going? Line balls, I'm uncomfortable with it.
One of our listeners, Brad, put up a rugby union, which is same story. It doesn't matter if it's rugby union or not. An explanation of a forward pass, and I get what he's saying.
Oh yeah, but he's
I get
right.
what he's saying, and I must admit, since Saturday, I'm not going to say that I've completely changed my mind, but I've had a few looks at that, and you could argue that the ball started backward out of the hands and progressed forward with the motion of the players.
Well, hang on. That would suggest that the ball changed, and the ball's not going to change.
No,
in
it
flight.
was just a minute. Look, the issue overall is with forward passes is that because there were a couple that went today. So Bulldogs St George game, there was one that floated, I thought, forward, but it went backwards out of the hands. There was a tip on that went forward, straight forward. I don't want that, to be perfectly honest. I don't think the technology's there enough.
No.
They need to do a lot of work before they get that.
I mean, it was just lucky for the one that you're talking about, the Manly Parramatta one. I mean, it was just lucky that Fox had their little zoomy camera right on the spot. Otherwise, we'd be looking at it from some bloke running around with a camera who's 20 metres behind the play and going, oh, was it or wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't particularly want to see that go to the video.
You
win and lose on those all the time.
And the other issue is that how many passes go forward out of dummy half?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Every dummy half does it.
Some do it worse.
I think one of our watchers, Sally, said if we would talk, if this happened in the first 5 minutes of the game, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Probably.
It would have just been
No, probably.
It would have just been a
I'd be
forward
talking
pass.
about it.
It would have just been a forward pass, and we would have moved on. It's because it was in the last 20 seconds of the game and won the game.
And look, to his credit, I thought, what's your winger?
Garrick.
Yeah, Garrick. I thought he did a tremendous job to get over the line.
Oh, he did.
And so it sort of deserted the try in many respects.
Yeah.
And I would have got another tip.
All right.
Anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, let's talk about round 4, gentlemen, of the NRL. There was an interesting game to kick it off on the Thursday night. Mm-hmm. We just talked about how sad and how bad the Dragons were. Tom, would you like to tell us how bad you thought the Broncos were
No,
losing.
because everybody's been talking about how bad the Broncos are, and not one person have said what a great performance the Roosters put on. Because you've got to players in front of you, and there were some slick moves.
Okay, let me call the game. Let me announce the game first.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Roosters beating the Broncos. I'm trying to work out a really clever way to say this, but I got nothing. Beating the Broncos 59-0, and that was very cruel of you to put up about what you did with Janelle. Parramatta beat them 58,
Well,
so we went one better and went 59.
I did say it was a little arrogant, but I just thought it was a great meme, and I had to share it. So look, the Broncos were terrible. There's no doubt about
they
that.
were shocking.
But I mean, if we won 30-0, that would have been an under par performance. I mean, they scored 5 tries in each half, and they didn't stop at halftime, which has been endemic of the Roosters in other years, where they'll get a lead and then they'll drop their guard halfway through. I thought they were clinical. I thought they were exceptionally good. There were some standout performances by Radley, Brett Morris. I thought Josh was really good. Keary again, sensational. Lindsay Collins, who I had my misgivings about a season and a half ago, he's almost Origin material, in a year or two.
Lindsay Collins?
Yeah, in a couple of years.
No.
I think he might be Origin material.
I don't think
so. So look, I thought it was a
Seriously?
terrific performance.
Do you think he's... Oh, okay, you're good.
He's had one good game.
No.
Good game, but he's a Rooster, so
Well, you don't watch him.
he's off the...
You don't watch him.
Excuse me.
You don't watch him.
Excuse me.
Brian watches
I
all
watched
the games.
all the games.
This week.
I've watched every game for a number of weeks now.
Yeah, but you wouldn't focus on Lindsay Collins.
No, that's right, because you know what? He's not a standout. Yeah, he had a good solid game against a team that put nothing up in defence. And I say that, you know what? The Roosters were good, absolutely. No James, no worries. But the Broncos, it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Yep.
They've got, across the park, a bunch of blokes that would make first grade in every team in the comp.
Yeah.
And they've got no idea how to read a play. They're machines, and they need to be coached.
And I must admit, I mean, they put up, after the game, they said, but they had 5 players out.
No, that's
Seriously,
not an excuse, man.
I mean, 5 players out, and I get they lose by 12, 20 points.
Yep.
But not 59.
Yeah,
And not to score anything,
And not to score anything.
Yeah.
That is a absolute excuse. I thought that signing Anthony Seibold was a masterstroke. Honestly, I did. I thought, wow, you know what? He went so well at Souths that they've signed him mid-season, and he could be anything. But you're looking at that Broncos team, and he comes out and says, we had 5 blokes out. Every club's got players out.
Yeah.
Well, there's no question now whether the Rabbitohs team was so good that he couldn't have lost. He had to play, he had to go well.
Either
when
way.
he was coaching
So
you
I've done
in
So-
2018.
Yeah.
He had such a good Rabbitohs team that he was always going to succeed. And that's the argument now. Is it how good a coach is he? Is the question.
Sure.
Well, and the two things is, and so he said, the lack of experience in the team, but he got rid of Andrew McCulloch, who's got 238 games under his belt. Cody Nikorima.
Yep.
He got rid of 4 or 5 of the most experienced players.
Yep.
And
he's hung on to Darius Boyd.
Darius Boyd, he polarizes people.
Yeah.
You know what? He was great in his day. He did not want to put his body on the line.
No, he had an opportunity to score a try,
That's right.
but he didn't even.
It just that is the sad thing is he needs to be tapped on the shoulder and said, mate, if you're not in it, you're not in it.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the same thing that we've been saying about the Broncos for the last 5 years. That they've got no halves. They've got no one who can read a game.
They're a bit like Melbourne. Melbourne have done a lot better than the Broncos, but they haven't had set halves. A lot of teams, the features of the halves. You think Eels. Well, it's Moses and Brown.
Yep.
Cronk and Keary. All those clubs that have got really solid halves.
Yeah.
You look at Melbourne and you look at the Broncos and you go, their halves are changing all the time. There's no certainty there.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
anyway.
So let's talk about the Roosters for a minute, because I as much as I hate to say it, they were exceptional. I think they didn't have a lot of opposition.
We've been talking about this game for 5 minutes now.
But they're so good you can talk about it forever.
But they were good. So with due respect to Tom, I think we should say just how good the Roosters were. They were impressive, and they went on with it, and that's a good thing.
And you look, after losing the first two games, admittedly by a converted try first game, 1 point in the second game against Manly, I was starting to worry, but the last two performances have been good.
I know. Week 3, when we started the show again, Steve and I went out and I said, Steve, you know what? If the Bunnies can win, that'll just be the nail in the Rooster coffin. And you come out and you've smashed both teams. So I don't know.
Oh, they didn't smash the Bunnies.
Yeah. So really encouraged by the performance.
Yeah.
Funny. Andrew Voss in his typical way said, injury report. Kyle Flanagan's got a sore foot because he kicked 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to Friday. The Panthers beat the Warriors 26-0.
Can't say I'm surprised.
I am. I must admit, given the way the Warriors played the week before, I'm surprised this wasn't.
They played the Dragons.
Yeah, I know.
Look, you know what? I thought.
But no Nathan Cleary, by the way.
I thought the Panthers were against Newcastle good, and I didn't think the Warriors were great against St George.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm surprised at 26-0.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised the Panthers got up.
Oh, neither am I. But I'm surprised at the 26-0.
Yep.
I think the Warriors had no one exceptional. That's kind of like, let's pass it to Roger and see what'll happen.
Yeah,
that's a bit sad.
Yeah.
It really is. They just didn't seem to come up with, I don't know, with anything special. So.
And you were saying that your favourite player in that game.
Oh, look, and I tell you, I think Ivan's got a problem next week because 3-2 doesn't go. So he's got Cleary's back, his son's back, but he's got Burton who's on fire, and he was exceptional.
Yeah.
And and Luai, yeah.
Luai, I don't think Luai's up to those two standards.
No, but I'd put him on the bench.
Oh, he was good.
I'd put him on the bench.
Like he was good. I say Burton was I thought probably the player of the round, but I thought Luai was good. Really good.
And I thought the Penrith forwards were very good too. They're really starting to get some forward momentum.
James Fisher-Harris, he's killing it.
He is.
Absolutely killing it.
He's killing it.
Matt Burton said that he read a quote from Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan said, I lost so many games from not hitting the last shot. I missed this, I missed this, and that's why I'm so successful. He said because when you lose, when you fail, that's when you learn. Yeah. And so I think he took a lot of heart out of that because, he had 5 missed field goals last week and he had a terrific game by all accounts.
Oh, he did. He had a great game.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the other Friday night game where the Storm beat the Rabbitohs 22-8. And I got to say, at halftime I thought, yes, we're in this. This could be the one that we win in Melbourne, and then they came out and...
Well, as we agreed,
barely caught a ball.
You lost the game. They didn't.
We lost it. I don't think Melbourne were that good. South, Sally, but I think South threw that game.
Well, look, for the second week in a row, Souths would have beaten most teams.
Yep.
Errors,
but they
was shocking.
There's probably a little bit of a lack without Cody Walker there. A lack of attack. I thought it was a great game. I thought it was really up tempo.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Speed of the game.
Well, it wasn't over. It wasn't over until near the end.
No,
that's the thing. That's what made it entertaining.
It's 16-8. South looked like they could get back, and then again, second week in a row, in the last 5 minutes, like they did against the Roosters, they led a try, and that blew the score out. But look. Yeah, and look, it's a tough 2 weeks to do the Roosters 1 week and then Melbourne the next.
Oh, he's given the Anthony Seibold a defence.
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, I've at least got an argument.
Look, in saying that, Munster was probably the difference, but Damien Cook was great out of dummy half.
Yeah, he was running a lot more.
All right, and I'll say this only once. Although I didn't think Latrell's game was great, I thought it was the best he's played for you guys.
Everybody agrees. Yeah.
Okay.
He showed what he's capable of. If he can stretch that out to 80 minutes, and he played for 80 minutes, that's a good thing. He was blowing.
Yeah.
But good on him.
Right.
I think it was a credit to him for sticking at it.
Yeah. And Ryan Pappenhausen getting the ball back into play from the penalty kick.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was
sensational.
superhuman effort.
That was sensational.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
that really hurt.
Yep, it did.
That really, but you know what? It shows the effort that it takes to win a game.
You can't.
They're the 1%ers everyone talks about.
You can't be off your game against one of the top sides and win.
No,
and that's not the same Melbourne team that played the Raiders the week before. You know, I mean, you can see the difference of a week. What a difference a week.
Yeah.
I don't think they were still. Well, they were a lot better. Still don't think they. You know, I still think they're going to have a tough year.
Yeah.
They've not adapted to the six again as quickly as some of the clubs.
But they will. Give them time.
They're getting there.
They will.
Absolutely.
Is Cameron Smith dropping, do you think?
No, I don't think so. They missed a couple of forwards in that game, and I think that they're still adapting to the play. I don't have any questions about him.
Well, I'd be playing him. I know that it's been said in a lot of media outlets, but I'd be playing him halfback. I think Brandon Smith is exceptional, and he should just be starting at hooker. He can make. I think he can make better meters out of dummy half right now.
Let's ask everybody.
And that's because Jerome Hughes has broken his hand.
Yeah.
So let's ask everybody. Go onto our Facebook page, NRL from the Sidelines, and go and put down whether you think Cameron Smith, number one, is struggling, or number two, should he go to halfback?
Struggling?
Halfback.
I didn't say he was struggling. I just wonder whether he's
not adapting.
Whether he's slowing down.
No. Well, like I said, I think he's a half a step slower, and that's all right because when you're at halfback, you still direct the play.
That's right.
And I think that he's more than capable of putting a play on the hole.
And I guess the 70% Cam Smith is still pretty good.
NRL from the Sidelines. Go and say. In fact, we'll post it and we'll get people to put an answer. Brian, that's your homework.
Oh, that's my homework.
That's your homework for the week. Go home. Post on NRL from the Sidelines.
Make a poll.
Take a poll.
Where should Cameron Smith play?
No. Should he be
by himself? Oh, sorry.
And should he retire?
All right, let's go on to.
Sorry, Sally.
Let's go on to the Saturday game.
You calm down, okay?
I'm calm.
Have you taken your pills? Do you need another one?
Keep going.
Okay, Parramatta beat Manly 19-16. Now listen, Joel is going to be watching this and expecting you to rant.
And expecting you to be professional.
As well.
Jackson Lobb, Joel, they look up to you, mate.
A professional rant.
Professional rant. Is that possible?
I'm calm.
Okay. Let's talk about the game first.
I thought it was a tremendous game. I loved it.
It was a fabulous game.
I loved the game. Yeah.
Really high quality game. Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
Yes. Overall, I thought Parramatta played to, I think, the best of their ability.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've got much more in them than that. And I think that it probably shows when Brad Arthur comes out and the thing that Brad Arthur has an unusual motivation technique, I find, and that is that he'll pull the players apart in the press conference or in the media when most coaches go, well, back off. He's quite happy to throw someone under the bus, and usually they deserve it. And so for example, for last year, for Mitch Moses, he was more than happy to say, he's not aiming up in defence, he's making too many errors, and it worked. It works for him.
Yeah.
You kind of have to worry when your team has a really physical win, and the player that he picks on is Regan Campbell-Gillard, and says, oh, look, we know he made 250 metres, but, he made 2 errors. I think that kind of, in my mind, that kind of solidifies that. I think that is as good as Parramatta can get, and it's a hard standard to maintain for an entire season. So, I think. So, how was that for controlled?
That was very good. Half time it was 12-2.
Oh, yeah, I know. I think
Tom
was thinking the fat lady with sun.
Well, it was starting to look that way, but to Manly's credit, they always stick in the contest.
Tom Trbojevic had a
very quiet game. Very average. Yeah.
Well, I think they contained him. I think they worked really hard on him. On containing him.
But it was hard. Like I think for the majority of the game, I don't think it was as one-sided as 12-2. I said I think Parramatta got a lot of the rubs of the green. And I could, I've already had a rant on Facebook about some of the decisions.
No, only one.
Oh, what? There's a couple. There's a couple that got me. So Manly coming out of their half.
What?
Listen.
You're the only one who has bad decisions. Don't get me started, girlfriend.
Manly coming out of their half. Tom gets the ball from dummy half, and he scoots into Dylan Brown, who's offside. No penalty. Then Tom gets his arm, throws it behind the player, hits the offside player, and Parramatta get the ball and score. I don't like seriously. That was a dodgy call. Dodgy call. Later on in the second half.
Yeah.
All right. Taking the ball to the line. I can't even remember who took the ball.
How many notes you got on these games?
None. Dylan Walker taking the ball to the line. Mitchell Moses tackles Thompson without the ball. Dylan Walker throws it into Mitchell Moses, who's tackling the player without the ball. Parramatta pick up the ball and it's their ball.
Yeah, that I must admit that one I questioned.
And you know what really burned me up about that is the fact that the commentators who are commentating on this game go, "Oh, well, he was tackling the bloke without the ball, but geez, he's had a good game." I'm going, no, that was a penalty on the line. That was a professional foul. Yeah, that's 10 in the bin.
Yeah, that I actually thought. I was surprised you didn't get that one.
Yeah, there, and like I said, and you know what, I was angry. I was angry about the forward pass that wasn't forward, and I was angry about those couple of decisions.
Yeah.
But you know what, we put ourselves in that position, and if my team is going to win the comp, we cannot be 12-2 down at half time.
Yeah.
And
Des said as much.
Yeah. Look,
Dylan Walker scores a try.
Yep. There was no separation.
Well, there was.
Unlike the one that Parramatta scored, where he bounced it.
No, he didn't.
Ball, hand, try. No, that was a bubble.
Wasn't that given a no try?
No, that was a try. Right on half time. After Tom got called for the forward pass for the hitting the play.
I'm going to move on. There was I lost track now.
Dylan Walker.
There was separation, but how close do we really want to look at these things? I mean, surely
they got
we
the
should
technology
say, look,
they're going to use.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, I don't like it either. But
I don't.
And we've always believed that the reason why we have the bunker is because the television always goes back and replays it.
Yeah.
And and so a dodgy decision gets given a try. The TV goes back and looks at it, and everybody goes, "What?" No. So that's why we have a bunker. And so it's good and it's bad.
Forward pass at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I say it was a forward pass. Most people have disagreed.
Of course, because you don't know what you're talking about. But that's okay. We all knew that.
Most people, and if came forward out of his hands, and I'm sorry, the NRL are wrong, I'm right. Okay?
It was a line ball and a very unfortunate time for any decision like that to be made.
I'll tell you, I was up. You ask anyone, mate, you could ask my neighbours 4 houses down. I was up.
Garrick deserves a try for the effort.
Yeah. Look,
anyway.
It's regardless.
You know
like
what?
I said,
there's going to be a game you're going to win this year that'll come from a forward pass.
No, there won't. Not my club.
Actually,
can I just say, when we're talking about hookers at a dummy half, I reckon Danny Levi throws about 90% forward passes.
Yeah, he does. He throws a lot of them.
I'm just sitting there going, geez, have we got away with that one too? That's okay.
I tell you what, you must be disappointed you got rid of Coruscant because he's killing it at Penrith.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, I think if he was there, we would have won that game.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
Poor old Nancy.
All right, let's move on to
three shoulder reconstruct. 3. They've done 3rd.
Let's move on to Sharks and the Cowboys. Sharks winning 26-16.
Okay, can I be honest?
Well, you haven't been the whole...
I was a little bit distracted during this game. I was still burning up from the game before. All right. Yep. What would you like to know?
Not convinced about either of these two teams.
Nah, they were both terrible.
Yeah.
The Sharks won, but I thought...
This is the seesawing game, wasn't it?
Try. Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm not convinced on the Sharks this year. I don't think they're going to make the 8 to
I think we all tipped the Cowboys, didn't we?
Yeah.
No, because I thought, didn't you?
No.
You tipped the Sharks.
I didn't tip either of them.
Yeah.
You what?
To make the 8.
To make
No,
that.
tipping tonight.
Tipping, I tipped the Cowboys, and
Yes.
then
Yeah.
I forgot that Tamalolo and Cohen Hess were both out. Which I think if those two were there, it would have been a different result. Cowboys, they didn't have any punch.
No.
They played well, but they didn't have punch. And when you take someone like, and Tamalolo he's a machine.
And Ramian had the best game he's had in 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he played well.
It was solo, lots of solo.
And for once, I really appreciated Cooper Cronk's commentary, because I think Sean Johnson is just, he's enigmatic. Enigmatic? That's the word, isn't it? Enigmatic, yes.
Yep.
He is, when he is on, he is brilliant, and then he makes the stupidest mistakes.
Yep.
He nearly cost the Sharks that game 3 times.
Yeah.
And I'm inclined to agree. When Townsend comes back, I would be dropping Sean Johnson. I can't see how you can keep a bloke in your team that he hasn't won them games, but he's certainly come close to losing them.
Yeah, he's always been that way, and it's frustrating. He must be frustrated.
What do we think of Valentine Holmes at the moment?
I thought he tried too hard in that game. I thought he was brilliant in the first game, third game. And I just thought he just tried too hard. He wanted to make too much of an impact on his old club, and it cost him, because he was out of position a couple of times and made
the
silly
Cowboys'
errors.
problem still is that they've generally got too much of an ageing roster. I think that they're clearing them out, but they're still in transition. I think.
I thought Esan Masters had a good game.
Yeah, he's been good.
He was good, actually.
That was the best game I've seen him play. A couple of mistakes, but no, I think that was the best game I've seen him play for some time.
Yeah, agree. He was really good.
All right, let's move on to another surprising result where the Knights beat the Raiders 34-18.
And the Raiders were really never in this game.
No, they weren't.
I couldn't quite believe what I was watching.
Yeah.
I mean, was this the same team that beat Melbourne in Melbourne and played like Superman?
Yes.
Right, okay, because I was wondering why they switched them out.
No, it was the same team.
That was men against boys, that looked like. It really was. The Raiders were bad.
Were Newcastle, are Newcastle that good?
It's hard to tell. I mean,
I tell you what, throw Tyson Frizzell in next year. It's going to be a pretty good forward.
Well, they're missing
pack.
Lachlan Fitzgibbon and Mitch Barnett.
Yeah.
Who are two really solid forwards. The Saifidi brothers have been killing it under Adam O'Brien.
Yep. Bradman Best.
Oh yes,
Isn't he special?
I mean, it's interesting because we've all got those players at our club that you've watched play, except for Tom because he doesn't have juniors. But you watch him in the junior grades, and then you watch him in reserve grade, and you go, oh, when that guy gets a chance, he's going to kill it. And Bradman Best has always been that player.
Yeah.
And it's really good to see him come up into first grade, and he's slaying it. And they've got that young fella, that Tex Hoy.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, he's good
mate,
too.
he's dynamite.
He's very
I want to take you to task with this. I identified Joey Manu, Victor Radley, Latrell Mitchell, at the very least, Connor Watson in the juniors.
Can I just say, Latrell comes from Taree, that's in Bondi.
When he was 15, he came to our club.
15?
Yeah.
That's like an old age pensioner with the rest of us. We've already signed him and had him playing in our comps.
They were all developed by the Roosters.
Yeah, there's a difference between developed and juniors, mate.
Where you're born.
Well, hang on.
Nothing.
You came out last year and you gave me a list of all these players that Manly developed.
Yeah, who've gone. Jesse Ramian.
And called them your juniors.
Well,
and yet it was okay back then.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
What are you attacking me for?
Because you're wrong.
Because you're just as bad as he is.
Anyway, Bradman Best. I thought that he was really good, and I thought, and I know the Raiders were bad, but geez, the Knights forwards were really, really good.
Yeah, Clemmer had a terrific game.
Clemmer is amazing.
Yeah, he had a really good game.
He makes post-contact meters, a lot of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd like to know, I don't know what the stat is for him, but yeah.
Saifidi brothers were good.
But again, that's what I'm saying. You bring Tyson Frizzell, an angry Tyson Frizzell.
Yes, who will be playing on the edge and running better angles, yeah.
Yeah, and who will actually have some other support forwards to move forward with him.
Ponga was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's come back after, what was his first game this season?
Yep.
And third minute he lays on a try
Yep.
to Best, and then that line break that he made to score.
That was good.
Terrific.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Sorry, the coach
Adam O'Brien.
Adam O'Brien was saying at training, Kalen Ponga is another coach.
Yeah.
Like, despite his young age, he was. What did he say? He said even though his head's not in football 100%, which I actually don't understand what that means. Maybe he's got other interests.
Well, he does.
Who would?
But maybe just as live and die football, and so he can focus on it when he switches on.
For a young bloke, let's face it, who's what is he? He's under 22, 23,
yeah.
Just, to have someone like that at your club has got to make a huge difference.
So Raiders.
Off day, they'll be back.
Yeah, Ricky said we're going to forget about that game as soon as possible.
Yeah, okay. All right, so let's do the same. Titans.
We've got a lot of Raiders supporters who watch us, Steve.
Yes, Hayden.
Yeah, but I'm sure they don't want to keep raving on about how bad the Raiders are.
Was there anyone at the Raiders who played in that game that was any good? Can we give him a
Whiten was good until he got injured.
I thought Whiten was good.
Whiten was lucky not to be set off for a
But I thought
foul.
even Jared Croker had an off game,
George Williams' kicking game just continues to be very, very good.
Their fullback,
Charles Nickel-Closter.
I'm not saying any potential Islander names.
Don't.
Mispronouncing them. He was exceptional.
He was.
Ran for 200 plus metres. He was really, really good.
All right,
there you go. Set.
Titans beating the Tigers. Tigers ran out to 12-0 or something or other.
Yep. Score.
28-23.
And with a couple of minutes to go, because the field goal was scored in the 76th
76th
minute. So it was 23-22 with 3 minutes to go or something.
Yep. Wow.
And that was a
Michael Maguire
great try.
Must be pulling his hair out. Yeah. How does this team continuously get a lead and then continuously throw it away?
And they can't play back-to-back victories. They can't win back-to-back. Your man Brian Kelly put on that last try.
Oh, look, I'm still a fan of Brian Kelly's. Scored one, laid one on. I thought he had a good game.
Titans haven't won a game in 364 days. Didn't quite get the year. Haven't, and yet they get beaten. They beat the Tigers.
That'll give real encouragement to the coach.
Yeah, I would have thought the Tigers were going to make the 8, but not on that performance.
No, look, a few big name players got dropped from the Titans team. From their loss last week.
Yep.
And their coaches were saying, we've got to be competing for everything. And I actually thought they did.
They did. They did very well.
Ash Taylor, from the difference between last year and this year is he made a couple of early blunders. Yep. And I think last year that would have been the end of the Titans because he's the focus of their attack.
And he's a confidence player.
And he just came back. And he looked good. He directed that team around.
He said that in the press conference.
Did he?
After the game,
I didn't watch it.
He said last few years, Ash Taylor, speaking about himself, would have put his head down after a mistake, and he said the coach has given me self-belief. He said, "I make a mistake, just move on."
You always put it down to the coach. I nailed that.
You did. You did.
No, I thought he was exceptional. And Philip Sammy was great.
Yeah.
Anthony Donovan was even okay.
I think Kevin Proctor's been having a terrific season.
Yeah,
and he's not one of those people that I've been talking about much, so he's been good.
Adam Dewey at fullback.
Yeah, I like him at fullback.
Jeez, he scored a try and laid on a nice kick for a try.
Yeah, but he was out of position a couple of times too.
He's learning.
Oh, jeez. First grade isn't the place to learn fullback.
No,
I know you think so because you've got
Latrell.
It is the place. You're not going to learn it anywhere else. You're not going to learn any positional play in the NRL without playing the NRL. If he's good enough, he's there. And I tell you what, I would take Maguire back as South's coach any day. So if he thinks it's right, it's right.
I'll tell you, the Tigers looked fit. They looked good.
And that try was good, wasn't it?
Which one?
The try went through all the hands.
Oh, yeah.
That Leilua kicked. Scored, sorry.
Yeah, that was a great try.
Yeah, that wasn't it? The over the head ball. And
yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, you were never going to stop that one.
See, and that's where the 6 again, it wears teams down, and you'll get those bits of brilliance that we haven't seen for a number of years.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, we're going to move on. Last game of the round was
Oh, yeah.
Bulldogs 22 against the Dragons 2. We're talking about how bad they were, how bad the Dragons were. Sorry, Barry. He's hurting.
Oh, I bet he
Barry is hurting at the moment. Brian, say nothing bad. Okay? But the Dogs were good.
22-2.
Well, I mean,
Well, the dogs weren't good. That was an average game.
It was an average game.
To their credit, the Dragons were leading at the 3-minute mark.
I said be nice to Barry.
Sorry, Barry.
They were leading all the way up to the 19th minute time.
Oh, okay. So I'd say seldom short. Sorry.
I don't know what to say about that game. I watched it with a little bit of disbelief.
Why?
Because, and in saying that, I picked the Dogs because I think they give 80 minutes effort. And Kieran Foran was back, and he straightened up their attack.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference. You know, I know that there's a lot of 5'8" out there that run games, but not many 5'8" will take on the line and get smashed by a big front rower and get up and do it again the next tackle, and he will. And I think that inspires a team around him.
It's been such a shame to see him so injured for so long.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic player. He's not flashy. He's just. I think he's the kind of player that the rest of the team wants to work with, and I think they did, and I think he was the point of difference between those two teams. That could have been a 2-2 game.
Yeah. Okay, Tom, would you like to do the ladder for me?
Again? All right. Okay.
What do you mean again?
No, because you've asked me twice in 2 weeks.
You do it so well.
Oh,
No, he doesn't.
You're a special ladderer.
Okay. So, in first place, Brian, the Parramatta
Brian's
Eels.
not.
No.
Only
Parramatta Eels.
Only till next week.
Only team to have won 4 games, all games.
Yeah.
The Knights on 7. The Panthers also on 7 points because they had a draw. In fourth place, the Raiders. These are your top 4. The Storm, the Roosters, the Cowboys, and the Seagulls in the bottom half of the 8. And then in the bottom half of the table, we have the West Tigers outside, the Broncos falling like a rock, the Sharks, the Bulldogs, the Rabbitohs, the Warriors, the Titans, and the only team, sadly, without a win.
So did you say the Sharks, the Bulldogs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sharks and the Bulldogs.
Sharks, Bulldogs, Rabbits. Steve, that's terrible.
Oh, Rabbits! Oh, I didn't see that. Rabbits in 13th place. So I should have made it.
Because can I just say, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking there's 4
That
teams.
can't be right. They had minus 80.
Who did? The Dogs.
The Dogs. Oh, maybe that was the
They didn't
Titans.
scored 60
Yeah,
points.
it's the Titans that have
Oh,
minus
okay.
80.
No.
There's 4 teams I think at this point in time can't win the comp. Dragons, Titans, Warriors, Bulldogs.
Yeah.
But I don't know what South's doing down there with them.
We're having
Well,
a...
Cody
I
Walker
don't think the Broncos can win the comp either.
Okay. Listen, I just want to do something. I just want to
Oh, yeah?
talk about very, 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 very quickly. NRL from the Sidelines has a tipping comp,
Yes.
which not most of you are in, but we have a few people in there. But Bradley, McManly, Brighton 75, Stormy May, Captain Bronco, all topped the ladder this week by getting 4 wins out of 8. Mind you, that's not so bad
Who's
because
Captain Bronco?
I don't know.
Captain Bronco.
yeah,
Let us know who you are.
And I don't know who Brighton, whoever it is.
taking up the rear this week was myself. I got 2.
Yeah, it's
I got 2.
because you
I got
refused to
3.
pick my team. Oh, hang on.
Do you want me to? Is that what you want me to do? You want me to pick your team? Okay,
All
we're
right.
going to very quick. We've been talking for too long, Brian.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to move on. We're going to quickly move on, and we're going to talk Central Coast Stadium Thursday night. Manly Sea Eagles against the Brisbane Broncos.
On the Central Coast. Ooh, this is a line ball.
I think 2 teams that are hurting. I think the Broncos will be a lot better, and the Eagles will win by 20.
Okay, we always
Yeah, Eagles.
but we always talk about the bounce back factor.
We lost 2.
Yeah, but
Come on, you didn't lose by 59.
The Broncos have had 93 points scored against them in the last 2 weeks. That's a big bounce back.
Well, you're going to pick the Broncos, are you?
No, I'm not. Never. Not at the moment. Okay, let's go on to, again, Central Coast Stadium on Friday where the Warriors play North Queensland.
Oh.
You have to say the Cowboys. Is Tamalolo back?
No, don't.
Unknown as yet.
Okay.
I'm going North Queensland anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not convinced. No Tamalolo. I'm going to go the Warriors.
Brave man you are.
Yeah, I am. I am a brave man. Yes.
Because last year it was, I'm never tipping the Warriors again.
I'm not convinced about the Cowboys.
Okay.
Anyway.
Bankwest Stadium on Friday night as well. Parramatta Eels against Penrith Panthers. This should be a good game.
Bradley will love this.
Bradley, you'll love this.
I think
Tom
the Eels
says.
will win.
Sorry?
I think the Eels will win.
I think the Panthers will win.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably leaning towards Cleary's back, isn't he?
Cleary's back.
Yeah,
I'm probably leaning towards Parramatta. But I'll tell you what, just a little. Okay, Saturday afternoon, Bankwest Stadium, South Sydney Rabbitohs against the Gold Coast Titans.
Surely, bro. Surely, Stephen.
Come on,
Surely.
Steve. Come on.
We'll put 30 on them.
It's a renewed Titans team.
South will put 30 on them, and I'll be there cheering, hopefully. They'll let fans back in. What?
No, they're not. They're not going to let you in.
Why? I'm a member.
They're not going to let
It's
me in.
our own game.
500 people. Steve.
500 people, Steve.
What
I
makes
can be
you?
part of...
What makes you so special that you be in the 500?
I'm part of a host of a very important, well-known...
Damn it, I'm going to Central Coast Stadium on Thursday.
Rabbitohs by not many.
I will ring Russell, and I'll get in.
Okay. Yeah, I reckon Bunnies too.
Did you pick the
By
Coast?
not many.
Oh, you picked South, so but not many.
By not many.
Okay, no wonder you're down the table with me. Central Coast Stadium, Newcastle Knights on Saturday against the Melbourne Storm.
I'm
Knights.
tipping the Knights.
I'm going to Storm. Sorry.
Yeah, predictable.
Yeah, the Storm with no halfback. Against the Knights. The Knights who put the sword to the Raiders. But anyway,
To put the sword to the Melbourne Storm.
yeah.
Campbelltown Stadium, West Tigers against the Canberra Raiders.
Raiders will be hurting.
All the Raiders will bounce back. Ricky will give him a rocket.
Sorry,
Sorry, Madge.
You know what? If it wasn't for this weekend, I would say the Tigers are going to give a good showing of themselves, but I don't think they will. Match of the round, Canterbury Bulldogs against the Sydney Roosters.
Oh man, your for and against is going to be like a million.
I mean, look, we should win this comfortably, but the dogs always perform well against the Roosters.
Don't be silly. If the Roosters don't win this by 50, I will be surprised.
It's not going to be the same performances that we.
Tom is being philosophical. Let him go.
No,
it's okay.
We might win by 20.
How much do you reckon the Roosters will win by?
I'll be disappointed.
Be honest.
Be honest. They should win by 30.
He'll be disappointed if the Roosters don't win by 30.
He said 30 plus. I still think I think a good 40 plus closer to 50.
No, I don't.
That would be nice.
It'll happen.
Makes
trust
for
me.
a great replay.
No, I don't believe. I think that the Dogs have enough heart that won't happen.
Yeah.
But
Their defence is pretty sturdy. They just can't score points often.
Okay, so the last game of the round on Sunday is Campbelltown Stadium. St George Barry does.
Sorry, it's just
St George Illawarra against the Cronulla Sharks.
It's just two teams that are just not inspiring, unfortunately. I think the Sharks will win.
The Sharks will win.
I'm tempted to go the Dragons.
I tried that this week. It didn't work.
Well, I'm really quite curious because it was interesting. They kept in the telecast. They kept flicking up to Mary, and let me tell you, I reckon that if he had something to throw at that screen in front of him, he would have. He was.
But would it have made a difference?
Well, you would have thought he would have been yelling at them before now.
Yeah.
So look, the Sharks are going to win that.
I know they're in turmoil, but look, you know what? I want to see the Dragons team list. I need changes in that team.
Yeah. Okay, that brings us to a close, gentlemen. Yep. Brian, do you have anything intelligent you want to say before we close?
I want revenge.
On who?
Parramatta. I hate them.
You will play them again, won't you, in the regular season? It's one
I don't know. I'm a one game at a time person. And honestly, I'm telling you, nothing gets me madder than losing to Parramatta. I can handle losing to like the Bucktooth Bunnies and things like that, but I can't handle losing to Parramatta. It hurts. It really hurts.
So if Parramatta beat Panthers this week, we should get Brad to dial in, maybe.
Sure.
All
Do you
right.
think he's going to want to if they beat Penrith?
Well, okay. Either way, we should get him to dial in.
Sure.
We still need to get some guests. I think.
All right.
Anyway,
Okay.
by the by.
Was that your comment on the
Yeah,
show?
yeah, that's fine.
He's made a bold statement and now he wants to change the show. And he's done it on air.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay. So
What do you think?
Now they're going
Would you like to be an on-air guest? You know?
don't make that.
No, we
don't
don't
know
have
what we're
a
going to
delete
get.
button. We don't have a delete and a stop button.
Yeah, it's called edit.
Mute.
We'll zoom in. Thank you for watching the show. This is NRL from the Sidelines here with Tom, Brian and Steve, and we will do it all again next week. Thanks for watching.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.